to go to the restroom first.
So we wait and
Okay.
How many here?
Two.
1 second. Straight down to the left side of your shop.
Thank you.
Okay. You too, come on over here. Is that it, Matt?
Is that the real one, huh?
Throttle doesn't work. It's fake. Nice instruments. probably not. It's probably restricted.
Right this way. When you go in, turn to your right.
Man. It's so cramped. Let's test this seat if it's comfortable. Pretty soon. Let's see. The leg room.
Move it in. Okay. Some more people can see. Yeah, we have to see that.
Gotta fill it up, dude. Oh, there's one here for me, Dan. You got a small one.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the E2 Hawkeye. When I was in the Navy, this was my office. I was a naval flight officer who flew in this kind of airplane. Basic function is airborne early warning. You can imagine the ship wants to see out as far as it possibly can. And so the radars on the ship, there's a range on them. There's also a problem with there's a straight line beam and the Earth's surface is curved. So if you're on a ship here with a radar working this way, if somebody's down below the radar horizon, you're not going to see them until you're in closer. So you put a radar in a plane like this one, fly it up above and look down, and you can see much further out. So the radar on this airplane could see over 200 miles away from this airplane, and we could operate well away from the ship. So we could see things a lot further out than the ship could see. So they're a crew of 5. There are 3 naval flight officers back here. All 3 were qualified air controllers. We were not just looking at the radar picture, we were controlling airplanes to make intercepts, controlling airplanes to get their targets and out, controlling airplanes to identify ships around the carrier. So it wasn't just looking at the radar screen, that was a big part of it. It was also taking control of airplanes and making intercepts. So 3 naval flight officers back here, pilot and co-pilot up forward. The way it would work is we would brief 2 hours ahead of time. Where are we working, what altitude, what frequencies, who are we working with, that kind of stuff. And then you come up and pre-flight the airplane. Every crew member's got a part of the airplane they're looking at to make sure it looks good. And then we climb into the airplane. You're looking at your scopes here, making sure everything is ready to go. And then the big gray seats here would swivel and face that way. Because when the time came to take off on the catapult, the airplane weighed 52,000 pounds, so you didn't want to take the catapult shot facing sideways. Yeah. So you would turn around and face that way, and then boom, you go flying, you close up the windows behind you, pull up the scope, and go to work. And this is your window on the world. There are all kinds of radar modes you could use, synthetic, raw radar, and the symbols you see on the scope, this one unfortunately is not working. But you can see those symbols. You can tell by the shape of the symbols what they are. If it's a square, it's unknown. If it's a circle, it's a friend. If it's the upper half, it's an airplane. If it's a full symbol, it's a ship. And the computer on this airplane would talk to the computer on the ship. So if we entered a symbol on our scope here, that would automatically appear on the ship scope as well. And then, so we would go flying. Average flight was about 4.5 hours. Double cycle. A cycle in a carrier is the time you launch a group of airplanes to the time that group comes back and lands. Hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, depending on the kind of airplanes in the air wing. So we would go first. A group of airplanes would launch. We'd control them, work with them. They'd come back and land while we stayed up in the air. Then another group would come out. We'd work with them. They'd come back and land, and we would land with that group. So we could stay up longer than that, 4.5 hours, but we couldn't aerial refuel. So there was a limit to how long we could be up. The new ones can aerial refuel. which makes the admirals really happy. I don't know how happy it makes the crews. After a certain period of time in here, you're kind of ready to get out and do something else. They gave us really nice helmets, good hearing protection, but it was still pretty noisy in here. It was noisy, yes. So you come back and land after 4.5 hours and then debrief. It was fairly comfortable back here. You could unstrap from your seats and move around a little bit, but you can see spacious is not the operative term to describe the apartment here. But at least you're not strapped into an ejection seat. Of course, without an ejection seat, if we went in the water, the only way to get out was this ditching hatch right here. So we pull that and we could get out that way onto the top of the airplane and get out. If we had to bail out of the airplane, behind you would be a parachute, below you is a survival pack. And so you would unhitch from the seat and take that with you through this wide, spacious passageway that you just came through to get back here and then go out the door. Practiced it a lot, never had to do it for real, and that was okay by me. And then these are oxygen hoses. We had oxygen masks with us, but we had boom microphones for my helmets, so we weren't talking into the mask. And so you put the mask up in there, and if there was a problem with pressurization or smoke and fumes, you could pull that out and go on oxygen. So this is what I did for a living.
Wow.
I was in the Navy for 20 years.
One question. All the time that the ship is sailing, there's always this kind of